must be dreaming, it's impossible, wait. Shake me till I'm in the game, and then I'm yours to take. No further obstacles to move or navigate. I am yours. Touch me, talk to me, don't look me in the eye and tell me I'm swollen symmetry, painting outside the lines. I will pick a flower, but if it decides to die, then it dies. What makes a flower die? It's damage at the root. It could be dry and dusty like a carpenter's boot. It could be under saturation like a rambling mute. It could be more. It could be speed, adrenaline, and impossible pace. It could be a cold-hearted war of words leaving no marks on your face. Could be punch drunk in the morning before the sun even takes its place. It could be more. It could be more. It could be more. It could be more. Transitional infidel that bends the ties that bind. It could be a blurry reflection, a multi-faced disguise. It could be roll with the punches, swallow the surprise. It could be more. It could be a saltwater sting in the look that's on your face when you get down and dirty and the clock dictates the pace. You get rabid like a dog that's losing a one-dog race. Well, it could be more. It could be a tin can telephone without the string. It could be shooting the messenger with a silencer on to keep the swan song that we sing from the choir.
When I was asked to be a part of this event, I was worried that I wouldn't remember a lot of what I experienced. They say that our memories wipe out things that are painful as a way of coping. I do remember feeling alone and afraid much of the time. In elementary and middle school, things were a struggle for me. I wanted so badly to fit in and make friends, but I knew I was different from the other kids, and no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't find a way to be a part of the crowd. Because I was different, the other kids would make fun of me, and because I have a learning disability, I struggled academically. When the other kids would make fun of me, I never really knew if they were intentionally being mean or if they just didn't understand me. I never felt safe at school, and I often got in trouble because I didn't know how to react, and I would often lose my temper. I hated school, and I didn't want to go. When I came home, I would go to my room, and I would often stay there. My parents tried to find activities to help me make friends, but nothing seemed to help. I wasn't an athlete, so sports weren't an option. We tried other activities, but it always ended up with me feeling more anxious. Middle school was the worst. I was getting into more and more trouble at school and having a really hard time with my studies. I felt isolated most of the time, and as a result of my anxiety, my behavior problems were escalating. I often got into trouble because I reacted to the bullying I was experiencing. One day in grade 8, Andrew LeBlanc from the Riverview Boys and Girls Club came to my school to give a talk as part of the Pink Shirt Day initiative. Pink Shirt Day is an anti-bullying initiative, which is appropriate considering what happened. Some other kids were teasing me, and I got in trouble. Andrew came to my defense and later suggested that I start going to the drop-in program at the club. I was skeptical at first, and I wasn't sure if this was going to help me. Despite this, my parents and I decided to give it a try. This is when my life began to change. At drop-in, I experienced a safe, accepting environment. For the first time, I had found a place where it was okay to be myself. I started going regularly, and soon my teachers and my parents began to see a change. I started to get involved in things that interested me. I served on the youth council at drop-in. In grade 9, I also was a junior achiever and a junior leader for the Riverview Parks and Rec for the summer. The kid who seldom left his room was now getting involved in the community. Through the Boys and Girls Club, I was also one of the first members of the Rogers Raising the Grade program run by Matt McKeegan. Through the support and acceptance I experienced with Andrew, Matt, and the rest of the staff at the Boys and Girls Club, things really began to turn around for me. I began to do better in school, even in subjects that I had always struggled in. I realized that I could do more than some people thought I could. I'm now in grade 12. I'm still involved with drop-in. I also have a part-time job, and I'm saving for a trip to Europe in the spring. I've also done some peer counseling at my school, working with students who are having the same types of troubles I had when I was younger. When I graduate, I'm planning to study to be a youth care worker so that I can pay it forward and help kids who are experiencing what I lived through. I really feel that drop-in has helped me overcome challenges that sometimes felt overwhelming. By providing a safe and accepting place to go, they helped me succeed, and I would not be where I am today without Andrew, Matt, and the others. I would like to finish with a quote from former NDP leader Jack Layton, which my parents often repeated to me. Don't let them tell you it can't be done.
When I was young and free, I grew against the wind. My soul was beautiful, soaring through the breeze, and this skin is where I begin. When searching high and low, found nothing but a stream that flowed so deep in me, it could not be seen. But in my dreams is where I begin. sun goes down, it's never gone, gone, gone. In the skins where I belong. In this skins where rewind my beating heart, push play from the start, and as the sun goes down, it's never gone, gone, gone. In this skin's where I belong. In this skin's where
Good evening. My name is Sherry Lackey, and I'm the Middle Level Strategic Coordinator for U-Turns. My role at Anglophone East is to support children and families in getting them to school and keeping them in school. 2 years ago, I met Miss Kaylee and started to get to know her story. Miss Kaylee started kindergarten in 2008 as an independent, animal-loving, social butterfly ready to take on the world.
But it's hard to learn when you missed a lot of school. Edithville to Queenie to Evergreen, back to Beaverbrook, back to Edithville. New teachers, new kids, new problems. School got hard and adults didn't always do the best. Trust became an issue and the suspension started. I think I have been probably suspended at least 30 times. In grade 5, I started to go to the YMCA alternative suspension program, a time out from school without missing school. I liked the Y. It became a safe space. I really liked Chantel. Grade 5, 6, and 7, all in the same school. I started to like some of my teachers, but school wasn't always easy. I started chatting with the lady by the gym, Sherilyn. I didn't know what the U-Turns lady did, but I was going to find out. When things got hard at home, I was comfortable enough to tell Sherilyn, and together we contacted a social worker. I moved and started to trust a few more adults. I kept going to the Y when I needed it. I tried boxing, went to some fancy International Women's Day breakfast with Sherilyn when I had to ask the mayor of Riverview's husband, "How did you get drug here?" I started attending local church groups, and the highlight of my summer was going to Tim Hortons camp. I was proud of the fact that I didn't get in trouble all summer. In August, this summer was winding down. I was excited to go back to school. Going back was so much smoother than other years. Thanksgiving break and still no suspensions.
Settle down for good, 'cause I have found you, and we are devoted, and that my word to you. Look at her now, look at her breathing, look at her now. When I woke up, I wasn't dreaming, defeated, broken, alone. And I thought of you, and that got me through it. And now I know what to do. Look at her now, look at her reading, look at her now. Look at her now, look at her seeing, look at her now. Look at her now, look at her teaching, look at her now. Look at her now, look at her succeeding, look at her now.
In September 2015, I had no idea of the journey that was ahead of me. I started going to the youth house in September and I was 15 at the time. Soon after school started, my mom said I had to find another family. And financially, my dad couldn't take me. I was really hopeless and really depressed. I never got along with my mom ever since I was young. At that time, I had a friend who lived just 2 blocks away from me, and I was pretty close with her. As I was desperate, I asked them if I could stay with them until I could finish high school. After a few weeks, I decided that I could. When I went to tell my mom that I was going to move with them, she said she wouldn't let me. And because I was only 15, there was nothing I could do but fight for myself. Lucy, which is my friend's mom, fought for me as well, and the employees of the youth house soon became like my community parents, and my teachers were involved too, and I knew I could trust them. Soon the social workers got involved, and I was surrounded with support. I was living hell, and there was a time when I wanted to end my life. I also did self-harm to relieve the pain. In January 2015, I joined the program Habileté Vie Carrière, and that program was organized by the Youth House, and it was one of the best opportunities I had this year. It really helped me go through the stress of family problems, and it helped me wait until my 16th birthday that was coming in April. I was counting the days. In March 2016, me and 6 other people of my age were chosen to participate in a youth conference that was happening in Toronto. It was such an amazing experience, and I also had the chance to take the plane for the first time. I had the chance to meet over 150 people from all around Canada. It lasted 1 week, and when I arrived home, the house was empty. My mom had left me without even letting me know, and not even a goodbye text. My Stuff was already at Lucy's. I had such a huge relief, and I cried a lot that day because of how strong I was during those months of hell. After a week or so after being there at my new place, I started developing a traumatic stress because of the situation that I had with my mom. For 3 months straight, I had nightmares every night, and soon after that, I was thought to have borderline personality disorder. I was seeing my counselor every week for support, and it's now been 3 years that I'm seeing her. I was on medication to also help me. In the summer, things were not going too well where I was living, and at one point I got kicked out. My boss, who lived on the same street, decided to rent me a room. So I moved there, and I worked there too at the same time. And after 2 months, she kicked me out too, and I had to leave the same day. She had some personal issues, and I tried to help too much, and that's why she decided to kick me out. That day I had lost my job and a place to stay. I was really depressed and I wanted to die because I thought there was something wrong with me. But even though the pain, I still held on. I went to stay at my grandma's for 2 weeks until I could find a room in Ziet for rent, and now I did. So far, 2015-16 was harsh, but at the same time, amazing. Even though I went through a lot, I still had amazing experience, and all along I was surrounded with people who love and care for me. I have learned a lot, I have become stronger and wiser, and I'm much more positive with my life. I'm really proud of myself for not giving up, because you need to fall before you can learn how to fly. My next goal is to finish high school, graduate, get my permit, and go to college into photography. I will follow all of my dreams, travel like I always wanted, and to live my life to the fullest. And for everyone here that's going through a hard situation, never give up and stay positive, because when you're positive, it brings more positivity in your life. And with this being said, I would like to thank the Youth House, Jano, Isabelle, and Stephanie for being an amazing support and giving me amazing experience. And also 2 of my amazing teachers, Cynthia and Bianca. These people were and still are an amazing support, and I'm forever grateful to have them in my life. Thank you.
Elle a quitté son nid, sa valise à la main, sans se retourner. Elle connaît le chemin, elle a retrouvé les sentiers qu'elle a connus, habituée des départs et des hommes corrompus. Le cœur en suspens, ne sachant plus où se diriger, son corps épuisé, gémissait tout abandonné, mais s'est agrippée au brin de lumière. Malgré ses os fragiles, elle avait le cœur d'une guerrière. À l'aube de ses 16 ans, elle ne voyait rien en avant, mais malgré ses démons, elle s'est relevée avec le temps et dit: ce n'est qu'un enfant. Mais loin avec de nouveaux souliers, elle était entourée de gens heureux. Elle n'a jamais pu comprendre ce qu'elle avait moins d'eux. À l'aube de ses 16 ans, elle ne voyait rien en avant, mais malgré ses démons, elle s'est relevée avec le temps et dit: ce n'est qu'un enfant. quitter son nid sans espoir à court d'option. Mais c'est rappeler de nuit en nuit que tout arrive pour une raison, que la vie lui a presque volé son bonheur, mais qu'elle a résisté, aujourd'hui elle n'a plus peur. À l'aube de ses 16 ans, elle ne voyait rien en avant, mais malgré ses démons, elle s'est relevée avec le temps et dit: ce n'est qu'un enfant.
One of my earliest memories is one of life's lessons that I've learned to live by. My dad had drowned when I was a baby, so Mom and I lived on our own. And when I was 4 or 5 years old, we lived in a house that at the bottom of a hill. And in the springtime, when the snow melted, the water would run down and into our basement. So Mom and I was out trying to divert some of the water away from the house into a ditch. And being 5 years old, let's be honest, I was probably getting more underfoot and in the way than I was actually being of any help. But anyway, I got my foot stuck in the mud. And in trying to pull my boot out, I pulled my foot out of my boot, lost my balance, and ended up putting my sock foot down in the cold, muddy water. Now, from an onlooker's perspective, I can see how this would be quite comical. To me, I looked up and saw my mom laughing at me, and I started to cry. And I'll never forget this. Mom bent down beside me and she said, "Oh, Jordy, if you can't learn to laugh at yourself, you can't ever laugh at anybody else." And believe me, folks, there's been times in my life where I've had to put that to use. She told me years later that there's a powerful secret in being able to laugh at yourself, is in that no one can ever laugh at you. They're always laughing with you. So life went on. I grew up. We got married. I had 2 boys. I got divorced. I went through a few relationships. I turned 34. And I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, you know, I'm just beginning to feel like I'm a man. You know, like I'm an adult now. I'm grown up. Things were on track, it seemed. I had been working for myself, doing renovations for about 4 years. And I was making pretty good money. I was busy. Mom and I had bought a special care home together and it was running fine. I had a nice truck, put a plow on it. I had bought a nice motorcycle for the first time in my life. I had bought a welder. I loved welding. You know, just everything seemed to be coming together. And then one night, I went out hunting raccoons with the guy next door, had a couple beer, climbed up a tree, fell and broke my neck. I woke up 4 days later in the St. John intensive care unit, and I was paralyzed from the neck down. All I could do was this. I went from very independent to totally dependent, just like that. And let me tell you, folks, that world is very dark and very oppressive. It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So 3 weeks later, after they decided that I was going to live after all, they sent me to the Stan Cassidy Rehab Center in Fredericton. And I had been there for probably 3 or 4 months when I first met Haley Flero, the executive director for Ability New Brunswick. Now, although I had heard of them and the United Way, I had no idea what they did. I had even donated to the United Way, but I didn't know what they did. I didn't know how they fundraised. I didn't know what their money went to. I didn't know what their goal was. More importantly, I didn't know how much they really helped people who need it when they need it the most. So at first when Haley would come in, I really didn't want to hear what she had to say because I knew what my potential was, I knew what my future was, and it was pretty dark. It was pretty hopeless. She'd come in every week or so and she'd go on about, oh, there's a loan for this and there's a subsidy you can get for that and there's the vehicle retrofit program, and I wanted to say, lady, I'm a quadriplegic. I'm not going to drive a car down the road. Like, come on, get a grip. I can barely wheel myself in a straight line. You want to put me behind the wheel of a car? Like, holy hell. Sorry. But really, honest, those and other words went through my mind. But there is a vehicle retrofit program, and I do drive, and I love it. But after a while, I did begin to see that there is help out there. There is Ability New Brunswick. There is the United Way, and they are there to help people when they need it. So, through it all, I never lost the love of working with wood. I've always loved working with wood. So after I got out of Stan Cassidy, I took advantage of a few of these programs and I had my woodworking shop adapted. Now you might say, come on George, you're a quadriplegic, your hands don't work. What are you doing in a woodworking shop? Well, you'd be surprised at what you can achieve with a few Velcro straps and a few other simple adaptations. I make cutting boards and serving trays, and I spend every minute in the shop that I can. I love it down there. So how do you use humor to dull the anger? I'll give you an example. I try to do things, I try to push my limits. I try to, think outside the box and do things that I know that I can't. So I have a catheter that comes out of my belly and a tube that runs down my leg and collects on a bag that's strapped to the inside of my leg. And I have someone empty it for me. So I was at home on my own one day and I thought, I wonder if I could do that myself. I have very limited strength in my arms because of my paralysis. My own arms are also partly paralyzed. But, let's give it a try. So I go in the bathroom. I'm not even sure I can get my foot up on the toilet, but we'll try it. So, lift my leg up on the toilet. Oh, that's easy. So I leaned forward to pull my pant leg up. The back of my leg tightens up, and I found out it's a lot easier to get your foot in the toilet than it is to get your foot out of the toilet. So my son's coming home in an hour. Well, I'll just call him and tell him to come home early because my cell phone lives on my lap. Where's my cell phone? No, it's not in the toilet. It's on the dining room table. So I try, and I try. And I'm getting angry, and I'm getting frustrated, and I swear a little bit. And then I think, this is kind of funny. Because from a different perspective, this could be in a movie. So I try some more. And then I'm laughing. I'm actually laughing out loud. And then I'm thinking, what if Daniel comes home and he hears me laughing? He's going to think that I'm cracked. So anyway, 50 minutes later, I get my foot out of the toilet. It's still dry, by the way. It hasn't went in the toilet, just stuck. My heel, I couldn't get my heel out anyway. So I wheeled out, put my brakes on, lay down on the dining room table, and I swear to God, 10 seconds later, Daniel comes in. He says, "Hey, Dad, I'm home." You little. Anyway, that's how I use humor, for example. Now, when Haley first asked me if I would be interested in participating in Songs of the City, and someone was going to write a song about me, I thought, what kind of a song is someone going to write about me? And this popped into my head. Yep. Yeah. Maybe because I'm from the country and I love country music, that piece of music came to mind. I don't know. However, that's not the piece of music that Tim Walker wrote. This song is much more about me and who I am. Enjoy.
Followed a dog on a Saturday night, but something was following me. Something invisible got in my way, and it turned out to be destiny. All of the trees looked the same that night. A birch was a popple to me. What a mistake that would be. How could this happen to me? I woke up on Wednesday and said to myself, who put the wheels on my throne? I am still king of my world, I know, but my body has been overthrown. But I don't need pity, I don't need you to stare. All I need is a reason, but there ain't one here. Mama said to laugh at yourself, and mama's never wrong. So I will find the humor in here and laugh until the tears are gone. I was a carpenter destined to build, and I am a carpenter still. And I'm just as stubborn as I was before. This probably strengthened my will. So give me some time and a piece of wood, 'cause opportunity still knocks. And I've got the key to the lock. I don't need pity, I don't need you to stare.
like to start by thanking you all for being here. Thank you to our great storytellers that were so generous with us tonight. Thanks also to our sponsors, TV1, KPMG, and the Capitol Theater. My name is Naisari, and I'm the Resource Development Director here with the United Way. Mon rôle est de travailler avec les entreprises et les gens qui contribuent leur temps et leur argent à Centraide. Les bénévoles, les coordonnateurs de campagne et les individus, votre dévouement est vraiment une inspiration pour nous tous.
Je veux également vous remercier. My name is Paul Toner. I'm the Child and Youth Community Coordinator with United Way, which means I get to work with all these wonderful agencies and caring people who work on a day-to-day basis with children and youth, from babies to sending them into adulthood. And we just want to continue to thank you for this because it's a great opportunity for us here.
And tonight, I hope that you, like I, have been inspired by the stories that you've heard. And it is because of the efforts and contributions to our community fund that we're able to create change. You're helping the people right here in our region. You're helping fight poverty. You're directly helping build stronger communities and helping kids reach their full potential.
Et nous sommes privilégiés de jour en jour as the United Way staff. We get to hear, because of all these caring people, we get to hear the impact that it's having of people who are helping them be comfortable in their skin, and people who are helping them to drive, and people who are helping them to succeed and be strong. And so we thought the best way for United Way to thank those who, especially those who support United Way, was to give you a glimpse of what it's like. We see thousands of these stories throughout the year, but tonight you've seen 4 powerful, very special stories and very powerful musical ways, which makes our hearts sing all year long. So we just want to thank you very much. Merci à vous tous et à vous toutes. Merci.
You're watching TV1, your community station.